What's up, everybody? Real Omar, my man. I was on his show. He's on my show. He's doing me the favor. Steve Padernacht, host of the Steven Padernacht Show, right?
The Padernact Podcast.
Not the Padernacht. I fucked it up.
The
Padernacht Podcast. He is a productivity coach at Keller Williams. He's a realtor, third generation real estate alumni here.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm here to learn. Hopefully you tuned in to learn too. Steve, welcome to the show.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Well,
I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I'm laughing because, like, we had a whole conversation. I was like, stop. We got to start now. All right, so Steve, for the people that don't know you, you're more than just a realtor. You're an entrepreneur. You've had bars. You've had different types of businesses, right? So, I'm not going to go too deep into your childhood, but I know that your father was a big influence, right?
Yes.
And he was also in real estate, and he put you onto game. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So I am third generation in real estate in the Bronx. Just to give you a little bit of context, my grandfather in 1949 got a job as a superintendent of a 236 unit building in the Bronx. It takes up 4 city square blocks. My father was 1 year old. He moved his whole family to the Bronx. My grandfather ran that building as a superintendent until probably late 70s when he retired. My father did not really take so well to the blue collar aspect of work, and he wanted to be a businessman. So he started getting into real estate, but from a different aspect, not working with his hands, but working with his brain. My father helped buy and sell and broker deals essentially my entire life. So like I grew up at the dinner table talking about deals.
Nice.
In those days, we didn't talk about cap rates. Like cap rates is a newer thing in the past decade or so. It was more like, okay, gross rent multiplier. And I grew up like with multifamily sort of, I guess you could say equations at the table. All right, so we could bring in 10 grand a month from this property right here, and that's 120 grand a year. Take that 120 grand, and they're selling it for whatever, $1 million. How many gross times the rent is that? Is that a good?
That was his math. That was his math.
It was math. Yeah. And so I kind of grew up in that, right? So I have 2 older brothers who are in real estate as well. My oldest brother, Michael, is in property management. He manages well over 1,000 units in the tri-state area. And my other older brother, who's in between me and Michael, is Daniel, and he's a real estate attorney.
Okay.
So my father's dream was always to have a family business.
Nice.
And, you know, Michael does property management, Daniel is the attorney, and I'm the quote-unquote broker.
Okay.
And that was his dream. So we're living his dream.
To have like a family office.
Yeah,
right?
which we do. We have it on Sedgwick Avenue in the same exact building that I grew up in, that my father grew up in, and he passed away in 2009. In 2010, we petitioned the city and we got the block named after him. So Giles and Sedgwick is now Howard E. Padernacht Way. So our legacy and our name is on that street corner in perpetuity.
Forever. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's beautiful, bro. I like that. I like that a lot, man. I mean, I guess now at this point in my life with legacy and shit like that, that starts hitting harder. When you're young, you don't think about that stuff. You're like, kind of like, whatever. All right, so when do you decide to become a real estate broker? Because you went to school for something quite different.
Yeah, I was a public relations major in college.
And this is all public relations right now.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about public relations off camera.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in college, my father never said you have to go into real estate. He never told me what you have to do. He just wanted us to be self-sufficient. He wanted us to be happy. And he supported what we did. So when I was in college, listen, I was 19, 20 years old, and they're asking me to pick a major. Like, I'm going to pick what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Like, how difficult is it to ask a 19-year-old kid to do that?
Right.
Anyway, the way I picked a public relations major was, I think it was like advanced or like beginning trigonometry. And I walked in college and I'm looking at the board and they passed out the syllabus and I'm like, I'm not doing this.
You're like, nah, son.
Yeah, I was like, nah. Legitimately, I got up, I walked out and I went to the advisor or the academic advisor. I said, listen, I'm not taking this class. I don't want to do this. And tell me what major I could choose that I have to take the least amount of mathematics as possible. Okay. He said, listen, you can go into communication. I was like, cool. So what are my options? Marketing or public relations? What's the difference between marketing and public relations? Marketing is you're paying for the advertisements, and public relations is getting people to understand your message through media. I chose that route, and So I ended up graduating or walking. I want to say I didn't graduate until many, many years later, but I walked and I got a public relations major. My father gave me two choices. He said, look, you can go out in the world, you can take your major, go down to Manhattan, get a job. At that point, we're talking 2004, 5-ish. I could have made maybe 40, 50 grand in the public relations field, go down to Manhattan, put on a suit every day. He said, or I will teach you how to never depend on a person for a check for the rest of your life. I'll pay you $300 a week or $400 a week, whatever it was, and I will teach you.
It wasn't a lot anyway.
It was not a lot. He said,
were you living with them still?
I'll answer that in 1 second.
Okay,
but what he told me is he was like, listen, I'll teach you how to never depend on a man or anybody for a check for the rest of your life. I chose that route. 12 months later, he said, how much money you got in the bank? I said, I got a couple grand or whatever. He was like, cool, this is your last paycheck. And from that point on, I was just in the real estate game. He put me in school he made me take at that point, it was a 40-hour class to become a real estate agent.
Okay.
My older brother was my sponsor. He had just at that point applied and got accepted to John Marshall Law School. And he was my broker for the first 2 years. And then after that, I took the broker's test, and then I've just been in real estate ever since.
Okay.
Don't
run over that. So to be a real estate broker, not only 2 years, but you have a certain amount of sales and rentals. So you were working at the time. Well, I want to illustrate that because you don't want to dumb it down too much, right? Because all of a sudden everybody, I just got to be here for 2 years. Nah, bro, you got to sell. You got to sell. So let's just, he did some shit.
Yeah,
right?
the qualifications are in those first 2 years that you have to take another 40-hour class. Now it's 75. And you have to have X amount of transactions under your belt to show that you are seasoned enough to become a broker.
Correct.
And I did that, and so I'm 26 years old, and I have my broker's license. And that was the first company that I ever formed. I still have that company to this day, the SMP Realty Group Corp.
I like it.
And I rocked on my own for a very long time, and I just kind of figured it out along the way. And to answer your question, I was living at home. When I graduated college, I came home. I lived with my parents for about a month.
Okay. You say this ain't it? Because you left the house, and now you have your own kind of freedom, right?
Coming back home was not the move. I remember.
You come home, mommy's like, why are you out till 1 o'clock in the morning? You're like, what?
1 o'clock, dude. I was coming in at like 3, 4 in the morning, and my mom was awake. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I couldn't sleep.
I had to wait for you. Yeah.
Well, I had to wait for you, but she just couldn't really sleep or whatever it was. And
because she was waiting for you. Don't dress that up.
Yeah, and I was just like, listen, I can't do this. So I ended up moving out like after a month after graduation. Okay. I haven't been home since.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So we're a productivity coach. Can you elaborate on what that means?
Sure. So productivity coach, or PC, we call it in the Keller Williams universe, is essentially the person in the office that is responsible for getting newer agents producing as fast as possible.
Okay.
So what that entails is laying out a 30, 60, and 90-day path for them to close a deal as fast as possible. So I've been doing that now for about 2 years, and I basically help almost all newer agents. So if you don't have at least 5 transactions under your belt when you come to the office,
that's considered a new agent.
That's considered a new agent. Yeah. So anybody that has less than 5 transactions under their belt, they're considered a new agent, and they have the opportunity to join productivity coaching, and that's where I come in.
What do you feel is one of the major obstacles to a new agent, like their misconceptions? Like, because I can give you my opinion, but I want to hear, because this is your job.
Yep. I could tell you, in my opinion, the number one thing that agents don't realize, or the misconception, is that they're just going to start printing money right away.
Okay.
And they don't realize that this is a 45 to 90-day business. Your work today is going to get you paid in 3 months.
Correct.
Not the other way around.
Unless you find the unicorn cash deal, clear title deal, but that's like that's very rare, right? And only because we've been in the game this long, we know what we're hearing, and we're like, okay. But right, as a new agent, you wouldn't even know what that means.
Have no idea. So I think the number one misconception is that they think they're going to make money right away, number one. And number two, this is huge, is that they don't realize that they're actually starting a business. You know how many agents I hear say that I work for Keller Williams? No, you don't. You're a partner with Keller Williams. They are your broker of record, but you are running your own business inside of that. You sign an independent contractor agreement when you join. So you have to treat this like a business. You need a marketing budget. You need somebody to handle your finances. You need somebody to handle your skills, your education, all of these different things. And Keller Williams helps give you some of that, but they don't realize that they have to put in the work and that they have to treat this like it's a real business. And I think that they think that people are just going to hand it to them. I would just add one more caveat to that, is that they think that everybody's going to be so happy and everybody's going to support them.
Right. Well, support means what? They come to them
Whenever
for anything real estate.
Yeah.
But let me peel it back a little bit. But you don't have any experience, right? So that now I have. Let's just I'm just using myself. Like if some new guy came up to me and said, "Yo, I help sell your house," but let's pretend I don't know anything about real estate, but I have a $6 million house or $2 million or even $1 million house, right?
Mm-hmm.
What makes me feel confident that you can deal with that, right? That becomes the question. And that's why I think having a coach is, I was having this conversation with my wife earlier today. It's very essential, especially for the newbies. Now, when there's an open market, like a good market, a lot of that shit kind of gets swept under the rug because there's just so much opportunity. You have new buyers, right? And so they don't know any questions to ask. Correct. So it becomes, and I'm saying this with all due respect, everybody, just the ignorant leading the ignorant, right? Until they run into a shark.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden they get outplayed. I remember I had this one girl, I'm not going to say her name, worked for me. I give her my client because I was busy doing mortgages. And the client's pre-qualified, walking around 900,000. I forgot what the number was. She was a teacher client. And I believe this client with that agent ended up ordering 5 or 6 different inspection reports. Deals kept falling apart. So the last one...
For 5 or 6 different homes.
5 or 6 different homes,
gotcha.
Right. Pre-qualified client.
Which means she got 5 AOs.
Approved offers, yeah.
Yeah.
So on the last deal, I remember reaching out to the other side because the contract was dissolving for some reason. And I said, hey, man, my name is Omar. What happened? Just because I got curious, right? Mm-hmm. I thought, and this is me being an ignorant broker because I'm not big on hiring. I wasn't experienced with that. And he was like, yo, man, I wish I would have spoken to you before. He was like, it's just like the way she presented herself and her lack of, her English wasn't that good, which is fine. But you have to be able to communicate. And you have to, like, going to real estate. If you're the seller and I'm the buyer, we're basically teammates trying to close a deal.
Correct.
You have to feel confident in my side. I have to feel confident in your side.
Yep.
Transparency is key. Communication is everything.
Yep.
So I had the client already had been pre-approved with a TBD, right? Meaning they had a mortgage loan to any house.
Yep.
I said, but I don't understand why we're dissolving the contract. I have a TBD. He's like, I wish I would have spoke to you before. I just didn't feel comfortable. I kept asking this agent different questions and she didn't know. Right? But this agent was, to me, telling me, I'm so busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. She wouldn't been doing nothing, bro.
That's
going back to productivity.
That's a big red flag.
I'm busy doing what? Or I need to give my partner, so I just want to share a pain point right now. I'm going to give my partner, nothing to do with me, doesn't work in my company, the client to show properties. I'm like, all right, whatever commission you guys are splitting it, this is what the house is getting, whatever. Let's say it was 50-50. Let's just say that, right? The partner calls me up, hey, man, I think we got to approve offer on this. I'm like, great, man, just talk to the agent. Oh, but I want to talk to you about the money. I was like, the money? I said, look, whatever she's getting, you guys are splitting.
Yep.
Oh, but that's not a lot of money. I was like, you got to go back. I was like, that has nothing to do with me, but it just goes back to how bad it was. This was during an upmarket.
Yep.
So, shortly after I fired her. But, like, you would think a lot of things are common sense, but they're not.
They're not.
Common sense is not common.
One of the reasons why I actually joined Keller Williams was because I was going through a lot of those pain points, the ones you're describing right now. And I was an individual broker for about 10 years. And I had so many people coming to me saying, Steve, I want to learn real estate. I want to join your team. I want to do this. I want to do that. I didn't have the training. I didn't have the ability to take these
spend time, right?
Time. I didn't have the infrastructure. That's the word I'm looking for, to be able to do that. And that's why I partnered with Keller Williams. I said, look, I'm already a broker. I don't need to come in here as a sales agent. I mean, I'm an associate broker at Keller Williams. And by doing so, it allowed me to then use their infrastructure to bring newer agents on. Now, granted, the the splits aren't the same because obviously, you're only getting a piece of the profit share at KW as opposed to a 50-50 split or whatever you work out with the agent. Right. But for me, I felt like it was just more for the benefit of the agent and for my growth long term.
Okay.
And I think when I see newer agents, I walk them through and I say, look, this is what you're going to need to give up. I never say, like, what are you willing to do? Because everybody says, oh, I'm willing to work weekends. I'll
do anything.
Are you willing to give up your Saturday mornings? Are you willing to give up your Friday nights? Are you willing to work and read and do things that are outside of your schedule? And if they say yes, then I'm like, all right, cool. Very simple. Here's what your first project is. Go home, make a list of 201 people. Everybody knows you, likes you, and trusts you. Take those 201 people. All you need is a name and one way to contact them, whether that's a phone number, an email, and or if you have them on social media. And start there, and you build out your 5 or 6 pieces of contact information for them. So we ask them for a name, a phone, an email, a home address, a birthday, and then, social media. Also, you have them on social media. Okay. So if you can build out a list of 201 people with as many pieces of contact information as possible, and you nurture them over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, then the path is in the math. That's what Gary Keller says. So if you just have enough people that when the word real estate or the phrase real estate is brought up and they mention Omar, they mention Steve, they mention whatever the new agent's name is because they've been branded,
associate
with that. If you could do that, then you'll have success in this business. If you're not willing to do those 201 names and you're not willing to build a schedule for yourself, then you're going to have a very difficult time in this business. And that's how I start them with their first 30 days.
Okay. And what's usually the response to that?
Well, I think that the usual response is, yes, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. And then I'd say probably less than 30% of the people actually come back to me with the list. And the rest of them just decide that they're going to do it their own way. And they're going to figure it out. And they're going to do what they need to do this. And then those 7 people usually are out of the business in the first year.
Yeah, like you're working for a larger institution, so you've probably seen a lot more. And I'm just giving you my own little pain points as a boutique broker. Like, how many times have I heard guys that work at other places? Yo, I don't have no money. So I'm like, yo, listen, I got this listing. Can you man the open house?
Yeah.
Oh well, yo, man, Saturday, I'm at my birthday party. Bro, how you going to a birthday party if you broke?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the conversations I'm like, nah, but. Now I use them almost as qualifying questions because before I'd be like, yo, I don't understand. And then now I kind of really do understand where people love to talk.
Yes.
And complain. Sorry, guys. The work takes care of you, but you have to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, I think that people want to be that person. People want to be the person who's going to sacrifice their weekends, their nights, their early mornings. They want to be the guy that's in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. They want to be the man or the woman that is, closing deals, but they just don't want to do the work that's associated with it. And I think that's the big differentiator between the people who are ambitious and the people who are motivated. The motivation will subside very quickly.
Right.
When it's cold outside,
it's fleeting. Yeah.
If you're ambitious and you are saying that I'm going to do this by any means necessary, those are the people that actually succeed, whether it's in real estate or in life in general.
Right, in anything.
If you want to lose weight, right? Like that first morning when the daylight savings comes in and it's, you're used to it being daylight outside, but now you wake up and it's pitch black. And you got to get to the gym and there's snow on your car windshield and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to just stay in this day as opposed to saying, I got to do this and I'm going to get it done.
I'm going to expand on that statement because I've been thinking about it a little lately. Like I'm gotten into like almost the best shape of my life, right? And I don't say that out of arrogance. I say that to say this, that when I started counting my macros and calories, there were certain days I would have headaches from lack of carbs. Mm-hmm. Or if you're not watching your sodium. I know it's getting very, very specific, but that's how bad I wanted it. And why did I want it so bad? I wanted it so bad because, obviously everybody goes through their, like I've always been into exercise and stuff like that, but I got super inspired by my homeboy and it was not something he said to me. It's something he said about himself. He goes, yo, I got a whole bunch of before pictures. Yo, that shit hit me like I was like, me fucking too, right? And I'm like, but I just say that and I illustrate that in specifically because you never know what's gonna trigger.
Yep.
And that thing, he wasn't even talking to me. He was talking by himself.
Yeah.
But I was like, me fucking too. And I take it and I use this motivation for myself. It was gonna be, whatever. I'm big on negative reinforcement for myself, not for people. But so I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then boom, I clicked. But it could be if you stay open to everything in a positive way, you can find your inspiration that will click you. And I use that or turn you on. I use that specifically because lately I've been having conversations and like some guys be like, oh, I want to get a nice car like you. Like if that triggers you, then use that because it will change. Later it'll be a house or whatever. Because my golf, he wants the golf membership. Whatever gets you there. Whatever gets you moving, use it.
Yep.
As you get better, the bar will change, right? It'll keep going up, right? And eventually it becomes your habit and now you're just moving. But like a lot of people ask me, and I'm sure you're a productivity coach, so I got to elaborate on it, where people are always looking for that magic. And now the magic is in you. You just got to find you got to find that thing, that one thing that'll turn you over to be like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I don't care how bad I feel. Like how many, like, I don't know if you saw my post the other day, my boys are dying on me. Like Monday, I felt like, like Zeus. Tuesday, I couldn't get out of bed because I had to like, but that's the game. But that's what it is, man. Like
peaks and valleys, man.
Yeah. But that's what it is. People think you're always up. No, not always up.
Not at all. And I think I wouldn't even go as far as Monday to Tuesday. I'd say, look, on a Monday, I could be up. I could be in my peak and then at 9 a.m. But then by 12 o'clock, you get some bad news. A deal fell apart. This is going on. That's going on. You check your mail and all of a sudden you see whatever bill, whatever it may be. And then you got a valley and you got to figure out a way to pull yourself out of that funk and get there. And I would, going back to your point about like, whatever triggers you, I think that if your why is big enough, the how will always find
that's Jim Rohn right there. Yeah. Jim Rohn, yeah, absolutely.
Like when somebody says to me like, hey, I want to get into real estate, I want to do this. I'm like, all right, cool. Why? Well, because I want to make money. Okay, cool. Why? Well, because I want to be able to buy a car. Why? And you go 3 or 4 levels deep before you actually get the answer out of them. And then that way you can always pull that thread when you need to. So if you told me that you wanted to do real estate because you want to get your kids out of the neighborhood that you're in and put them in a better school, and I'm going to pull on that thread.
That's pretty cool too.
So when you say to me like, oh, well, I didn't make my calls, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, you do realize that if you don't make your calls, because your kids are going to stay in that same neighborhood. So next time you're sitting there looking at your phone or your dialer and you're not going to make your call, just think about it. It's not you that's affected. It's your kid who's affected. And not only that, it's your kids' kids, and the education and the way that they can get there is by you just doing the work.
Yeah.
So attaching the why.
You could change all the lives ahead of you by you changing what you're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's actually really good. That's a really good concept. I like that. I'm gonna steal that.
Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, look, you're there for that reason, right? To kind of help people start moving.
Coaching is just accountability.
Right.
It's accountability and guidance. That's all it really is. Like most people just need that accountability. They need to say, hey, you know what? I got to make sure that I get Steve my list by Wednesday.
Right.
They need that deadline. They need that list. It's more of a perceived notion than it really is in actuality. And then, of course, along the way, what I do is if they have problems with deals, if they shadow on open houses, or they need me to sit down with them on their first listing appointment, I'll go and I'll sit with them on their first listing appointment. I'll go over my buyer consultation with them. I'll go over my listing presentation with them, and I'll give them the tools. I say, look, here, I'll just share this with you in Canva, and now you have it and make it your own.
Right.
I give them that because I want to see more people succeed, and I feel like we as realtors have a very negative connotation in the market. I feel like people think that realtors just open doors, and they don't look at us as an actual, like, think about it. If I said to you, hey, you're a wealth advisor, it's just a different perception. You're like, wow, this person's going to help me build my wealth.
Right.
But what are we? We are wealth advisors as well. If I can help somebody buy a home that has never bought a home and nobody in their family has ever bought a home, what you're doing is you're creating generational wealth for that family and the lineage that comes behind it. So I feel like people don't talk about that enough as realtors. And what they think is that we just sit here and we just help you with that one they're very transactional. It's not about that one transaction. It's about what that transaction will then springboard them and their family for future generations.
Yeah, I think when you speak to, because most of my clients are experienced, but when you speak to a first timer, like my wife deals with first time homebuyers a lot, there's a lot to take in, right? There's a lot to understand. There's inspection, there's the mortgagee clause, like there's so many contract contingencies, like, and it's almost like a different language. And I've seen their eyes. I'm like, no, it's not a big deal. Relax.
Yes.
I remember one guy was like, yo, my down payment secure? I was like, yeah, mortgage. Your mortgage commitment clause. I started breaking it down. They're like, oh, okay, because they feel like they're just sending a certified check or a wire, and it's a lot of money, right? If it's your last $30,000, it's a lot of money. If it's $1 million, it's still a lot. Everything's a lot of money when in scale.
Of course.
Right? In scale.
Of course. I think that's why it's important to break down the transaction. And I do that during my buyer consultation, right? So like with first-time home buyers, we sit down, especially after the NAR settlement, a year or two ago. I really doubled down on my buyer consultation. And I just explained to them, like, here's a timeline. These are the 10 to 15 different phases that we're going to go through. And I'm going to be walking with you arm in arm the entire way. So right now we are in the phase of locating neighborhoods that will work for you. And next phase will be presenting offers. And then I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, cool. So now we're in this phase. And then every single week you're sitting down and saying, okay, so we hit this phase. Now we're moving on to the next phase. Remember, we talked about this and we said, and if you reinforce that and you walk them through it slowly, by the time you're done with a transaction 45 or 60 days later, you look back and, hey, remember when we were just talking about neighborhoods? Yeah. Now look, you're here.
Yeah. It's overwhelming if you don't break it down.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And they start getting scared. Everything's nervous. Everybody has like their own attorneys, meaning their cousin.
Oh yeah.
Or everybody who went through their own like fucked up. It's like people who have bad relationships, right?
Of course.
They bring it in. No, you gotta be careful. You gotta ask. You gotta. I'm like, and now you're dealing with the masses,
yes.
Right? Yeah. I've been there.
Well, as a realtor, it's very important to have a team of people, right? So, like, I always say to them, so do you have do you have an attorney that you're working with? And they usually say no, especially first-time buyers, but some of them say they do. I say, great, would you mind if I had a conversation with them before we decide if we're going to use them or not? And they usually ask, well, why? And I'm like, well, because communication is key, and a lot of attorneys will keep us out of the loop and then take the same deal that I negotiated for you and then make it something else. So I need to make sure that me and them are on the same team. Same thing, in your field as being a lender, right? Like I need to talk to the lender. I need to see if they've actually done a pre-approval, if they've pulled the credit in the past 30 days, if they've checked the W-2s or they checked the proof of income and and go through all of that.
If everything's solid.
Yeah, because you could pretty much I can underwrite a deal. I've been doing this so long. I can underwrite a deal by looking into my pay stubs, looking at a recent credit report. I can figure out what their DTI is. I know what most lenders are looking for. And if you're dealing in New York City, which the co-op market is very prevalent here, outside of this state, it's not, but it's extremely important. And I explained to them, hey, this is why I need this information, because I'm going to vet your lender and I'm going to vet your attorney and I'm going to make sure that they're able to communicate with me throughout the process.
Bigger than that, like sometimes I ask who the attorney is only because you want to know if it's like a one-man shop. So one-man shops hold things hostage. I'm going to keep it real, guys. It's real, Omar. It's my fucking joke. Fuck it. I'm in court all day. I can talk to you at 8 o'clock at night. Who the fuck is talking to you at 8 o'clock at night, bro? Everything happened already. Yeah. So those are one of the things I look for, right? And then when I'm on the real estate side, I like to speak to the lender if it's not us. On the buyer side, I'd be like, yo, man, like I had one deal in particular. I was like, yo, it's a legal 2-family, not a 3. Mm-hmm. So you can only use two rental incomes. Yeah. Oh, word, I didn't know that. Yeah. It's not to take the deal, it's to help the deal. Course, it's to help the deal. But no, like going back to our community, I feel that sometimes, and I say this with a touch of love, because so many people are not making money, they touch one deal and they're like, it becomes like, what's that fucking Golem? Golem with the 3 rings, with the Lord of the Rings. In my precious, I'm like, yo, bro, relax. Nobody's taking that. I want to prepare you. This is what we got to do, right? Or there is no seller's concession, or there is no this, or there's no play on this, or give them the lay of the land so they know what they can actually negotiate, or where we could play or where we can't, right? That's becoming like I have a deal that is on hold right now because the seller wanted full market ask. Well, whatever, I don't care. I'm just lender on the deal, but of course it's a conference call.
It's not just a lender, by the way.
No, I was all right. I was when I say that is because I wasn't on both sides.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm just a lender on this deal.
Yeah,
clear to close. So I'm like, I bet. Email goes out. We're ready. Nobody's getting back. So I'm like, okay. So the client, she's like, calls me kind of riffing. I'm like, what's up? She's like, all right, so
You're helping the buyer.
right, I'm the
You got
buyer. I'm the buyer.
pre-approval.
I'm
Yep.
the buyer bank.
Yep.
She goes, well, this motherfucker, meaning the seller, wanted full ask. I went above full ask because supposedly it was a bidding war.
Okay.
Open CO. So I said, I'm gonna give you full ask. Just take care of that CO. We're clear to close though.
Open CO. We're talking about open violation.
Open permit.
Open
They
permit.
didn't finish a basement
So
or something like that.
popped up on title.
Something small, but it was
Yeah.
something small, right? And so the seller assured her that everything would be taken care of
By closing.
by closing.
Yep.
We're clear to close, still not done.
Cool.
So the seller's like, oh, you can hold money in escrow, I'll take care of it. I'm on a conference call. It's the realtors, the attorneys, and me.
Yep.
She was like, I paid you $30,000 above ask. Fuck you. Take care of your shit. No, you're not holding escrow. I'm not going to be she said, I'm not going to be inconvenienced. I gave you over full ask.
Yep.
So unless you didn't drop $30,000 off of this, we're not talking. That
Interesting.
deal's still on hold. And I respect her for that.
I do. It depends. Right. So from the outside looking in, I'd say, okay, well, let's take the 30 grand, put it in escrow, and you don't get it. If you make the escrow large enough, the guy's going to close it out. And if not, then the buyer ends up having to close it out. I mean,
but she feels like she overpaid. And she was willing to overpay if she could move in, no problem. She's like, I don't want the city coming to my house. I don't want.
yeah.
She's like,
is this in New York City?
this is
one of the
like-
boroughs?
Nah, this is like in
Like Westchester County or
Chappaqua, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
One of those. And I took, listen,
Listen, sometimes you got to stand your ground.
I'm like this.
Sometimes
No,
you got to stand your ground.
no lie told right there. I was like, yo, listen. And then I brought it up. I was like, do you guys want to give a concession? $10,000, $15,000 for her trouble?
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely not. And we moved to Florida already. So we're carrying 2 mortgages.
Yeah.
I said,
The pain's on you.
I say like this. Okay. Because
Yeah.
what I felt like saying is like nobody cares about that
Yep.
the way you didn't care to hit her for an extra 30, right?
Mhm.
So I say that to say this, that the way you engage in business is the way you should expect to be engaged,
Correct.
right? So if you're going to be an asshole, don't think people are going to bend over because she could walk away. And she performed. Like, she's like, we hold your down payment. I said, no, hold on. Performance is all done on her. She's good.
You got to deliver clean title.
Right. You have to perform.
You're in breach of contract.
Correct. Right.
Now
That-
she has the
that
ability
came up.
to. Yeah, she has the ability to now go after you for damages because you've had her.
Right, because I don't want to say there's some entitlement there. I'm not going to put the word before that, but I'm like, listen, you're not playing with people that don't know what we're doing here. We know exactly what we're doing. And I was like, you need to perform. If you're not going to perform, then what are we talking about? So
Exactly.
So that deal's still on hold. Just give me like one of my pain points today.
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of that stuff happens, and I think that you just have to, as a realtor and as a professional, as a lender, you just have to give people the facts, give them some advice,
material facts,
Correct. Give them advice, and let them choose what they think is the best scenario for them. And I think if you do that enough times, you're going to have a very successful career in real estate.
Yeah. Well, on up markets, there's a lot more like, that's cool. Let's go. Now we're in a different market. Right now, buyers are buying what they're buying, and there's no free money out there. So it's like, yo, this is what I'm paying for. This is what I want.
Yep.
And I'm with that. Because I think during the fix and flip like little burn we had during COVID, people, and especially in Long Island, I don't know what contractors are out there, man. So many people bought houses in Long Island. They're all fucked up.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
all fucked up. They're like, yo, what's going on? Like,
well, that was what they called it, the Great Escape, right? Getting out of New York, so people were just paying way over asking, just buying stuff. You know, a lot of cash went out to those.
Long Island, New City.
Yep.
Like, you know, all the Blava, all those little
They were
areas.
waiving inspections. They were waiving
mortgages, appraisal mortgages. Yeah, appraisals waived.
All their contingencies they were waiving just because they wanted to get out of New York. And that's the difference between dealing with a larger scale perception of like the whole COVID, the way it was handled. And I'm not going to get into politics here, but you know, the fear factor that people had, like, I got to get away from people. I need to make sure I have a lawn and be separated from everybody else. It forced people into these situations where, like, you know, they were doing things that they financially shouldn't have been doing, but
add the city money.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was it.
Stimulus money helped, but I think it was more the PPP money that was really coming in. The stimulus money was a check. What was it? A 200?
No, well, I was talking about the PPP money. I just didn't want to say it, but you did.
Yeah. The PPP, all those PPP loans that were coming in, all of the EIDL loans, all these different loans that were coming in.
Yep.
But that's just what happens. And I think that people just need to always think about your exit strategy. My father always told me that when you're buying real estate, you always think about your exit strategy. Your profit is made when you sell, but you acquire that when you buy. You don't see the profit, but you acquire. So like if I told you, hey, I'll sell you this house on 123 Main Street, I'll sell it to you for $100,000. It's worth $500,000. You're not getting that $500,000, that $400,000 in equity, but you have it.
Right,
you're acquiring it, but you're not going to see it until you sell it.
Yeah.
And you have to think of that exit strategy. Worst case scenario, I'll sell this house for, whatever, $150, and I'll get my money back. Think of your exit strategy. If you're buying a house that is 10, 15% over market value, you have to realize that it's going to take a long time for the market to catch up to that appreciation. And you might have to, when you sell for whatever life event comes up, you might have to take a haircut and realize that you're buying it for quality of life. And I don't say that you shouldn't do it, but if the quality of life aspect is big enough, then you're willing to take a haircut, right?
Well, quality of life changes everything. Like you go from a renter's neighborhood to an owner's neighborhood. Just looking on the streets, you'll see, you'll know.
Oh yeah,
you'll know. And that was
not as much trash on the street.
Yeah. I mean, look, I lived on Mayflower in the Bronx, Pelham Bay, which was a decent neighborhood for a long time until the kids got real crazy with the weed. And then I was like, all right, so now I live in a tennis community, right? Shit is different, bro. Shit.
Wait till you move into a golf cart community.
Yeah, my ops were this morning the Coyotes. I was like, yo, who's out there? With my little Frenchie, I'm like, oh, there's a coyote. I'm going to pick her up and run. Let's go. Meanwhile, in the hood, the ops are the people out there, right? It's different.
Listen, just as a sidebar, I grew up, and when I grew up, I was smoking hella weed growing up.
Okay.
But now, I haven't smoked probably in, I can't even remember, probably 5-6 years. Okay. And I can't stand that the aspect, you walk through Times Square, you walk through certain neighborhoods, and it's just stinking like fucking weed everywhere.
Bro, when people come to the office, they come with their teenage kids.
Yep.
It smells like I was smoking.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what's going on in here? Right?
Yeah.
And then people looking at you a little weird. I'm like, oh, it was me.
I don't judge, but at the same time, like there's kids walking around. Like, come on, man. Oh, it's legal. So what if it's legal?
Is it the right thing?
Prostitution is legal in Las Vegas. Does that make it okay? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's legal. Let's just have a sense of decency and understand that you don't want to expose the kids. And dude, I sound like my pops right now. The gateway drug. But
shout out to pops.
Yeah, man. But yo, it's true. Being older, being now 44 years
aware.
Old, being aware of once you start smoking, it can lead to other things.
It lowers your integrity compass, I believe. Your moral compass becomes a little compromised, right?
Dude, I want to be aware of my surroundings at all time. I'm not looking to escape nothing.
Well, most people that do that are looking to escape.
Correct.
Right?
And I'm not judging. Listen, I smoked weed for a very long time. I got a lot of my close friends that smoke weed and do it. I'm not hating. All I'm saying is just have a little decency when it comes to the community. Because going back to why I'm talking about this is you said you grew up on Mayflower and the weed got too much and you had to move out.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not
right.
I'm not gonna fight. Have my son tell my son something's wrong, but he'll be like, but Dad, everybody. And we weren't having that conversation, so I was like, we out.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? You were living in, whether it's a two-family house, whatever it was, you were renting. So there was a landlord, and there were property values that were affected by the fact that people are out there standing in front of the building, smoking weed, drinking 40s, doing whatever the fuck they were doing, and that's affecting property values, and that shit will drive it down. So just be aware of your surroundings, and more importantly, forget about that, because nobody wants to hear, woe is me, the landlord.
Right.
But there's kids, man.
Yeah.
A single mother or a single father, whatever it is, they shouldn't have to step over you smoking weed with their baby to go to work.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that needs to be addressed. And listen, I don't want to be too controversial here on the show.
Be controversial.
But the fucking truth of it is, the best couple years that we had in this city were when Giuliani really cracked down on the quality of life crimes. Now, obviously, the stop and frisk, that whole fucking aspect of that's a little extra. But when you're talking about quality of life, that is what's going to raise property values, and that is when you become an owner. and you own a property and you own your home and you're the one who has to fucking pay for the lawn and you have to pay for the fence and you have to pay for all this shit, that quality of life shit you really value.
Yeah.
And now we're
you become more committed to it.
Yeah,
You become
absolutely.
committed to
You're
your
billing
neighborhood.
taxes and you're like, where the fuck are my property taxes going?
Yeah.
Fix that goddamn pothole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Which is funny, like in the Bronx, if something went wrong and you called, it would take days.
311. You're calling 311. You're gonna get a report number.
It would take days.
They're too fucking busy.
I don't even in New Rochelle. I don't even call. Something fell. There's people outside. I'm like, oh, word. This is what it's hitting for right now. Yeah, I like that shit. I know it sounds like first world problems, but listen, man, I work hard for it. Nobody gave it to me.
My man, you have a right to feel that way, dude. Like, you paid a lot of money to live wherever you live, to pay for your office, to pay for all this stuff. Like, these motherfuckers that are ruining the shit, they ain't paying nothing.
Right.
They're just taking.
And they're acting entitled. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't own this shit.
Right.
That attitude is like just for the birds. And those are the people that are not going, it's going to be very difficult for them to turn that around and be successful in life.
Well, look, one thing I learned also in my little journey in my life is that some people are not meant to be owners. They're just not, bro. Like, roofs, that's a lot of responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So some people just not built for that. Right? I've gotten into housing like, yo, this has been leaking for how long?
Yeah.
They're like, we just put a towel down. I'm like, nah, man, that's not how it works, bro. You got to get that fixed.
Yeah.
Like when we're trying to sell a property, I'm like, what is that? Oh, it was a little crack and now I'm like, yeah, it's a problem. Like,
Yep. You know what I think though? I think that a lot of people just aren't educated enough on it. And like, they think like they don't know how to fix it and they don't realize it. And they're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just leave it.
Yo, man, I'll do one further, right? So how many people have I had to sell their grandmother's house, right? And I'm like, yo, this is a nice piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
But because they can't put their egos aside, because their family, like, I've had a conversation with kids and be like, yo, why don't you pay your parents' rent?
Well,
You're 25 years old. Why don't you pay them something, $500? At my mom's house or my grandmother's house, not my mom's. I'm like, but this shit costs money, right? So I just couldn't understand that. We just stopped talking to them. But how many people of color, like their grandparents killed themselves to buy something and they're fighting for the scraps? And I'm like, yo, if you fix this, fix that, you'll have a place to live, right? And it's, in Brooklyn, Texas, like $5,000, $3 million house. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is crazy. Like, why are you giving this up? Nah, I want to be out. I want to go to North Carolina. I was like, ain't nothing in North Carolina that can be done in Brooklyn. But I was like, all right. So it's hard because, like, you can only have that conversation so many times. Then you're like, okay, whatever these are the facts. If that's what you want to do, okay, I'm going to help you.
I think that it goes back to more systemic issues, and it's like kids aren't taught financial literacy in school. They don't understand equity. They don't understand these things and how they can benefit.
These concepts.
Yeah, they don't understand so it's all abstract to them.
Right.
They're like, oh yeah, grandma owns this house. Like, you realize that grandma bought that house and now it's, she bought it
with money.
She bought it for $20,000 and now it's worth fucking $750,000.
With money
that you could use to fucking do stuff. You could borrow against. You could do so many things with it. Like, and kids are just not taught the concepts, especially in like the inner city schools and the boroughs. Like, I feel like there needs to be more of a effort made to teach. I want to say economics, but it's not really that. It's just financial literacy and understanding that, like, just because you're from the hood don't mean you have to stay in the hood your whole life.
Usually, I agree with what you're saying. I'll just add that usually it has to come from somebody they can kind of associate with, because if it was like their 40-year-old white teacher to a 14-year-old black kid from the projects, it's too far, right? Metaphorically speaking, it's like, that's not me. This is me.
Yeah.
But if it's a brother who was at the projects and went to, I'm making this thing up, but this is a way. Go to the Army, do their 5 years or whatever, Navy, Marines, whatever, get their VA, buy a house 100% finance, no money out of pocket. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving you game, guys.
Yeah.
And then you come back and be like, yo, I got this house. You could, this is one way. This is why I did it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh shit, there are ways. And that was really the whole reason for the podcast, for me, was to show people of color talking about shit that is possible and it shouldn't be so far away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Again, when my grandparents owned houses in Puerto Rico, so I thought that was normal. But I'm the reason we started buying houses. Yep. I told my mom, like, this is where it's hitting for. Then my aunt was like, yo, put me on. Like it became a thing, right? Like, we all started, because I started raising the awareness. I was like, take your little lawsuit money, buy a house, because you're going to need a place to live, stop renting, And, I told him about, I would tell him, listen, you can write off on your taxes. You'll probably get $15,000 a year back. Really? That was and I'm not an accountant. This is not financial.
No.
This is not financial advice at all. I'm just telling you.
Talk to your CPA.
Right. But, these are the things that I had to tell them for it to make sense to them. Because why? I'm like, because you can own it and you can have people sleep there or live there. Or you can rent out, giving them the options. Yeah.
Well, who was it? I think it was Ed Milet that says, be the one person that changes your family's last name forever. Be the one.
Yeah.
And for you, it seems like, you were the one
who
changed, but be that one. And everybody should strive to be that one that gives your family name the ability to change its entire lineage after you.
Yeah.
And if you just continue going down the path that everybody else did, your family's just going to stay the same. And you have to have a sense of pride for your family name. For example, my last name is Padernacht, right? Padernacht, father of the night. I'm very, very, very prideful. And my father used to always say, your reputation shows up before you.
Absolutely.
And my brothers and I are all in the Bronx real estate world and now New York City in general. So when I'm doing deals and I'm doing things, I'm very, 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 very aware of what I do affects them.
Okay.
Because they hear Padernacht, they're like, wait a second, I dealt with this guy Steven and he was really A-okay and he was honest, he was trustworthy. Or it could go the other way, and then it would screw up a deal for my brother. So
Absolutely.
I say all this to say, to go back to what you were saying, treat your name like it's gold and change it forever.
Let's do one further for the younger kids. Treat your name like your brand,
right?
Because you'll understand that part.
Yeah.
This, what he said, I don't mean shit. Treat it like your brand, and now you'll understand what we're saying. We're saying, hey man, look, when they say your name, there should be some sort of emotion associated, right?
Good,
right.
Emotion.
You want it to be good. I mean, if we're on opposing sides of a transaction, it shouldn't be good. But at least you'll be like, you know what?
They were
I understand.
honest.
I understand.
They were trustworthy.
It's like competition, right? I understand. We were competing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make us good or bad, but I respect him because he was doing what he had to do. But yeah, I think that'll resonate more with the younger crew because that's what they talk about. My brand. What brand, bro?
Mm-hmm.
You 18.
Well,
we have a corner. What brand you got?
I'll tell you what, though. They do have a brand. Their brand is to be that kid that's just sitting on the corner right now. That's their brand right now, but they change that.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing, to realize that, your brand doesn't need to be, your identity doesn't need to be tied to the community that you're from. You can change it moving forward. And for these younger kids that are out there that are listening to this, they have to understand that they have to act as if they're in business and act as if their name at one point will ring bells. And you want to make sure that the stuff you're doing is going to reflect well.
Even better, act as if what you're doing today will somehow affect you tomorrow, because it will.
Absolutely,
because it will. Because I have a good little metaphor, right? The sun comes up and down. Whether you lay on the floor,
correct,
and shit yourself and piss you and nothing happens, and you're looking up, the sun's gonna come up and go down.
Mm-hmm.
Why not make a move? Because the sun is definitely moving. Whether you move or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well, that becomes the thing, right? Because everybody feels like they have to be inspired or motivated. Bro, it shouldn't be so much the outside. It should be you looking in the mirror saying, yo, who I want to be? And how do I get there?
Or am I proud of myself right now?
Right. Do I like what I see? Yeah. Right? Do I like what I see? And that's a hard conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And a lot of people, going back to the smoking and the drinking lately, there's this rush to worship now. I was talking with my last guest, because people are looking to find purpose. And there's nothing against going to church. I'm with it. But church is just a place to go. Church is you.
Yes.
Look in the mirror. You are church. Your morals.
Yep.
That's what you stand for. And that's what your kids see. And that's what your wife sees. And that's what your fellow humans see, right?
Who are you behind closed doors?
Exactly.
And I feel like, and it's interesting you mentioned that, rush to worship. I've seen that. I've noticed that lately too.
Oh yeah,
there's so
my
many
ears have been like, what's going on?
Now all of a sudden everybody's going to these churches and God bless, right? I'm a very proud, Catholic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was raised in the church. I was baptized, communion, confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also taught by my father. So my mother was Catholic. My father was Jewish. So I grew up in a household that was extremely diverse. My father believed that we should be raised in the faith of our mother. But I was very much aware of the Jewish side of my family. And my father always taught me, just have your own relationship with God. You believe in something.
What's your father's name?
My father was Howie.
Howie.
Howard.
Fucking gems,
Yeah,
bro.
Howard Padernacht.
Yeah.
Howard E. Padernacht.
HP.
Yeah, yep. So he said, have your own relationship. It doesn't need to be defined by what you are hearing from the people at church or what you hear from like people from my side of the family. You just need to have your own relationship, and just remember the most important thing is the golden rule: do unto others as you want done unto yourself. If you use that as your guiding compass, if you just use that as your guiding light for the rest of your life, you're gonna be okay, because you're not gonna treat people any way that you don't want to be treated.
Right.
And the whole rush to church, it's great. Like, God bless, go.
If it triggers you to be a better person, if it triggers you to be a better person, take it.
But make sure your actions reflect that too. Like when nobody's looking. Like,
right. Don't be good at church only.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, like I grew up in the Catholic school system, right? Like, and I was in public school until 5th grade. My mom put me in Catholic school from whatever, junior high or whatever. Then I went to Catholic school for high school, and I was kind of like force fed it. So I ran away. Right. But now as I'm older, I find myself going back to it.
So the value.
Not necessarily going back to church, but going back to God. And I feel like people don't understand that you don't need to be in church and posting on social media and doing all this stuff, because if you truly have a relationship with God, you feel it and you feel fulfilled. And you realize that God is with you, and it doesn't matter whether or not you're posting if you're at this church or that church, and make sure you're posting it for the right reasons, because you want to inspire somebody and show them that you that they could also walk with God. And your religion has nothing to do with your relationship with God. Your relationship with God is your own thing. I don't even say like the standard Our Fathers, Hail Marys. I just talk to God and I thank him, right? I give gratitude, and then I ask him to continue to allow me to be the best version of myself, that I could walk in his light and share it with the world.
Yo, amen, bro.
Yeah.
It just felt like the proper thing to say.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Hold on. I feel him.
Yeah. Well, he's here.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's here, bro. He's within all of us,
He's always here, man. And I think us stating that the accountability is us is everything, because most people, I remember I was telling a friend of mine, and I was like, yo, he's like, my son has problems at school. And I'm like, all right, well, you got to handle that at home. He's like, but that's what I pay them for.
No way.
I was like, bro. I was like, bro, it starts at home. Everything else is a supplement.
Yeah.
The main ingredients are home.
Yes.
Right. And I told him that, like, no offense, like, if like, he was a new father. I was like,
yep.
He was Jewish. I'm Puerto Rican, whatever. So I said, yo, it's at home, bro. Yeah. It's not outside.
You can't pawn that off. Like, first of all, like, you have to understand that kids are going to be, you don't understand the influence that you're having on them just by being who you are. How they see you talk with your wife or their mother, how they see you interacting with the server at the diner, how they see you doing these things is how they're going to think that that's what is supposed to be done. So it has to start at home. Like, if it don't start at home, and that's the problem with society, I think, these days, that a lot of these kids are out here raising kids, and they're kids themselves, and they were never taught. But that'll go into a whole deeper, like the inner city nonsense.
Well, bro, the 90s were crazy. The 90s were everybody was having kids at 15, 16. That was crazy. And there was a lack of fathers. I mean, look, I was a father at 19, right? I was a father at 19. Me and my son's mother didn't get along, but I was still there.
I was about to say.
Taking punches to the face all day, metaphorically. But I was like, little man needs me.
But I think when in those situations, as long as the child sees that, like, you don't bash their mother. You don't.
Nah.
You keep that, like, you make sure, like, my father always taught me, like, your mother is up on a pedestal. You do whatever you can. I don't care how wrong I am. This is what he told me. I don't care how wrong I am, but at no point in your life, like, he always put my mother up on a pedestal. And my mother always did the same. They never talked crap about each other. I mean, I grew up in a household, both of them, but it wasn't the perfect marriage. They were fighting, but they didn't fight in front of us.
They're two individuals.
Yeah. But they always taught us to respect the other person. They never bashed them. And I think that, our society just gets too watered down with, like, oh, my baby daddy's a piece of crap, or my baby mama's a bitch, or whatever the fuck it may be. Like, come on.
I love his impersonations, man.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
You guys should be impersonator.
Like, come on, man. Have some respect.
I think
you open your legs for that, homeboy.
Damn, he's going.
You open your legs for homeboy, and now you talking shit about him. Why? Because he moved on from you? Is he there? Is he paying the bills? Is he a good father? Does he love his kid? Then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man. Yo.
Sorry, this is real with Omar.
Shout out to my man, right? My man Steve. What was I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so I was gonna say that the hard part, and I'm not being, because I'm talking from personal experience. The hardest part becomes trying to, whatever disagreements and animosity you have, especially being young, it's hard to control yourself emotionally, right? You got to control that shit and have a separate relationship with your child. And that was me learning too. That was me in the beginning. It was hard because we were at odds. You know, we were young. I was in college. And I had to later understand, damn, man, I want him, when he sees me, not drama. Yeah. I just see me. So I had to work on myself and pull back and recalibrate. Yep. So we went through our thing, and now we have a great relationship, and he understands because he's 30 now. He's a man, right? So he's like, Dad, I understand. Like,
I get it.
It's cool down. And because, having a child, you always feel like you owe. No matter what, bro. You always owe. Like, I just want to explain it. No, Dad, you're not. I want to explain it. I want to explain. I want it because I want it to be clear with us, right? Yes. With us as men.
That's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man,
well, the thing is, that's important to men. Maybe me and you talking. Other men, I don't have to explain shit.
I don't even want to talk about deadbeat dads. Don't get me started, bro.
Okay, all right.
Fuck that shit.
We don't have time for the deadbeat dads episode, but that'll be coming up next year.
Don't get me started on that.
Okay.
I think that's disgusting. I think it's terrible. I think that you're a terrible human being if you're a deadbeat dad. I don't care what the relationship is. Yeah. You got to be there for that kid.
Yeah.
And that's what is wrong with society. Is there too many deadbeat dads or terrible moms or whatever the case may be? Like, be a good parent.
They're checking out.
Yeah, they're checking out. Like, come on, man. Like, don't get me started, please.
All right, man. Listen, Steve. All right, look, man. We're gonna wrap up. Where can people find you for all types of parental advice?
Listen. I appreciate you having me on here today.
Absolutely.
We talked business. We talked about parental advice. We talked about a bunch of stuff. You can find me on Instagram, Steve_Pad.
Camera.
Yeah. Steve_Pad. You could email me. You could get in touch with me, man. Steven Padernacht. Just Google me. You'll find me. Padernacht.
If you need a realtor, a productivity coach, or advice on parenting, hit up Steve, right? Yeah. Me, askluisomar. On all platforms. Who do you want me to have on next on this platform? Because it's getting spicy. All right, Bo, thank you.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.